Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ducon Red 1 and I am back with another episode of Krein. There is a little bit of updating to do today, and we're going to be doing some detailing and such on this episode. And I wanted to start off with this picture right here, looking here at the castle. I am using the Too Much Effects shaders, the TME Shaders Ultra. And as you can imagine, my FPS is pretty low. I'm at a whopping 18, almost 19 FPS. I'm sure I could work with that a little bit more and get that up. But yeah, so anyways, we're going to switch over to some different shaders real quick and yeah, get some better FPS going. So, I have made some progress. I had streamed recently, this last Saturday, a couple days ago, and I had done quite a bit. There are some things that I'm not quite happy with and that I'm going to be changing soon as we progress with this project. However, like this guardhouse here, when I built it, I wasn't really thinking too much. I just wanted a guardhouse there. It's blocking this statue, so that's going to have to move. But, so, before we get into really anything too much, like to the castle part, I want to show you around the outside. My initial plan for the front of this area here was to make it all into a bailey of the castle, where there would be a few houses for higher upper class people, maybe definitely some stables, maybe a blacksmith and different things like that. However, I have chosen not to do that, which leads us to a problem. There is no stables in this castle. Well, there is, but there's only room for 6 horses, so we would have to figure out a solution for that. And so as we progress with this castle, we'll have to decide on what to do next. But let's not think about that right now. What we're going to be looking around is what my current plan for the outside of Krein is going to be. So when we are thinking about a castle, we're talking about it from a defensive standpoint. And if we had a bailey out here, that bailey potentially could be used against the castle as a place for the enemy to sort of hide and hide from any volley of arrows and such coming from the castle itself. Alright, so my current idea, when I have changed this or altered the terrain and altered the idea to be, is that this is going to be just a bunch of fields. Now, still the enemy can come up with some of those siege, like the large shields that archers can hide behind, and they would like slowly inch their way up until they got to maybe the edge of this cliff, so that the enemy archers can just kind of hide behind and shoot up at the defenders. But they would be hammered by arrows, because there's a lot of different places to shoot from here and such, so that would be a difficult feat. But anyways, yes, it's just going to be fields around, a few scattered trees, and then there's, I'm working on deciding on what the fields are going to look like and how they're going to be laid out and what they're going to be. Like, blue's going to be potato fields, probably going to be a mix between planted fields and non-planted fields to sort of indicate crop rotation. If you guys don't know what that is, it means that maybe they're letting a field, the soil, rest for a year, either that, or they are preparing to plant the field so that maybe they'll get potatoes by midsummer, whereas if they plant this now, they'll get it maybe late summer to early fall. That's kind of how crop rotation works, is so that you always have food being grown so that you can pick it and eat it without it going bad. So you can always have something fresh. That that pink will be peas. This is going to be wheat. As you can see, they're very large fields. And then this here is going to be corn. Now, I know corn is not a European crop. And also, I'm pretty sure potatoes came later on too, but we're not going to really think about medieval realism here. We're just going to be planting crops. We're going to make it look good. That's really all that matters to me, since we're not going with a realistic style castle. I mean, you just look at Krein, it's not realistic, it's different. It's not a logically laid out castle. It's just kind of everywhere, and I just want to keep that theme going. There's no reason to really go superb realistic on this, but I do want to still follow when I say not superb realistic, I still want to follow realism, but it's obviously has a fantasy setting to it. Now, when you enter the castle here, you'll be entering through this sort of like, it looks like a theme park entrance, but I kind of like that. I like this kind of design. And the idea behind this is it would funnel the enemies so that they couldn't like come onto the bridge from the sides or whatever. They would have to come straight through this door and down this causeway. Now, this causeway is covered by all angles, or from all angles over here. You have that tower up there. You have 2 layers of arrow slits. You have the I forget what that is called, the wooden parapets. I'm not quite sure what that is called specifically. And then you have these arrow slits at the bottom, and they can all shoot down the causeway. Not to mention you have a ballista here that's able to shoot long arrows down. So when they're charging down, that long arrow can skewer maybe 6 or 7 enemies at a time as they are charging down. And then you have all these different hanging bodies. These are thanks to the recent update to the Conquest texture pack, 10.6 or 7. I'm pretty sure it's 10.6. Mine says 10.6, but I have a auto updater. I'm not sure if it's 10.7 now. But anyways, yes, there are now hanging bodies, and they look fantastic, I think. They look really nice there. And I really like how this turned out. You have just a slightly defensive gate design, and you got a couple gargoyles to each side. I might revise these a little more. Now, these are not my design gargoyles. These are from Westeros Craft, so I just want to give a big shout out to them. Westeros Craft, you guys are fantastic. I did not feel like making my own statue. I just used it from my statue plot I have back around the architect plot. And it turned out where I just used these because, I thought they looked good. They're compact, and they kind of follow the idea. Like, I have gargoyles up here on the walls and such, and then these are supposed to be gargoyles too. And so I kind of made larger. These are griffins. I'm sorry, not gargoyles. These are griffins. But still, that's the kind of the same theme. Griffins, gargoyles kind of go together. So you walk down here, and you have lamps to either side. It's basically jumping. You jump to this side, jump to that side, jump to that side, and all the way down. It adds like that really neat effect. It's lit up, and I just love how imposing this is. It feels so imposing. And you walk on up. You can also notice that I've added in greenery, some trees and such like that. I'm certainly not done with that. There's going to be a lot more. So you walk up the causeway here. You go through the first drawbridge, and then there is details down here as well. I got some spikes and some things. We'll need to add in some more detail there as well. I'm not quite sure. That's supposed to be a chest. That's a weird texture for that head. But anyways, we'll keep walking up. So you got their first drawbridge. You walk up this spiral, all the while getting shot and annihilated from all these arrow slits and such from up here. They would shoot down at you. And then you would have to get across this drawbridge and such like that. You guys already know the whole defensive system to this castle, so I won't go into that again. But as we add on more and add to the defensiveness of the castle, we'll keep talking about that. So, as far as details are concerned, I want you guys to help me out and sort of decide on what little details I can add into the terrain surrounding. Like, I just feel like this part feels a little plain, stuff like that. I'm not sure what I want to put on this side because I don't want to put trees over here. It's possible that I could put bushes and things, but I do not want places where the enemies can hide and like hide behind, because trees are great, things to hide behind. Say if there's people shooting arrows at you from above, you could just hide behind a tree. Like if they were hiding behind that tree, you'd shoot into it and you miss more than you would hit. So that's the idea, is I don't want to put many trees on this side. I want them all cut down. So maybe I'll put tree stumps and things to add to that effect. So let's see what else. I think that is pretty much all the updating so far. I didn't do too much. I just did a little bit just to add in some details and things. And right now it's just been basic details. So what I do is once I'm done with the basic detailing, just trees, bushes, and grass and such, then I would go back through with the fine detailing, like maybe a body laying over here, or maybe a little camp or a cave there, and maybe there's like a bear living inside it. Who knows? There's a lot of different things that I can add in some more detail to give us that more of an effect. So, but yeah, I want your guys' comments below, and hopefully I'll be able to get a little bit more done throughout this video and add into the awesomeness of krein. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get on with it. Okay guys, so I'm not sure if you can notice from this angle, but I am working right now on these parapets, these wooden palisades that go on top of the walls. Now, let me show you what's been going on. So the original idea was that the palisades were just kind of built on the wall and that this was kind of flat up here. And it's been bothering me lately. Like, why isn't there fortifications back here? Because these wooden palisade bits would only be built during war times, but you know, these are more permanent. But I mean, however, they can be pretty much annihilated pretty quick because wood can be, you know, burnt. Catapults would hit it, make holes through it. Wood is not made to be as defensible as, say, stone is, but it helps protect against arrows much better, and so that's why they are here. Now the thing is there is no fortifications back here, so what I've been working on is I have moved the palisade out one more. I'm not even sure if this is called a palisade. Is it just called like a parapet, a wood fortification? I'm not quite sure, to be honest, but I've made it a little larger, and I'm going off some pictures on my Pinterest. Now, if you guys want to check out my Pinterest, there's a lot of inspiration over there, so go ahead and check that out. The link is in the description, or you can go to my About page, and my Pinterest will be linked there, and you can go check out whatever inspiration you can find over there. I have a ton of images pinned, so anyways, besides that, you come inside, you have all these different murder holes and such over the arrow slits so they can shoot out at the enemies if the enemies were coming to attack. And I think it works out pretty good. I really like how this works out, where you have the fortifications behind and you have the wall in front. Now, obviously, if you just took this palisade off, this wall would look extremely flat. It wouldn't look like, say, this down here where the fortifications come one out. If I were to do that, I'd probably have to redesign this entire palisade here. But I don't want to do that, so I'm just doing it the very basic way, and that's why I'm just doing it, you know, flat up and down. And then I put in these little wood sort of steps to indicate that you can walk over the wall into the parapet over here, and yeah, that's that. So I'm going to be doing that to all of this, and I'm going to be doing that over here as well, because I just feel like it's needed. It makes sense, and yeah, so other than that, what I'm going to be doing is also probably working on this part, but I'll come back to you guys once I kind of finish this up and move these parapets out and get that a little bit more squared away. Plus, it'll look a little bit better. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do this, because I want to make sure that rainwater will not drain down into this area down here. And also, I'm not quite sure, this needs to be thicker there. I'll probably figure that out. But this is like the under wall area, bunch more arrow slits and such, and it's probably going to have to be thicker walls because this is only too thick here. So we're gonna probably make this little hallway through here pretty small, because we don't want, because right now this presents a structural defect. So say if they hit this part of the wall enough, it'll just collapse this entire bit, and that would be no good, because this is the whole defensive portion of the wall where they can shoot from and all that. So I'm gonna have to work on that a little bit more. Just some little things here and there just to point out as we're building our castle. So I will return as we finish up these parapets. Okie day, so I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I haven't done that one over there yet, but I've done this one, and I've done a little bit of cosmetics on the inside. As you can see, I've textured up the inside of the wall where everyone would be walking. Typically, they'd be walking over it a lot, so as they would, there would be gravel collecting. No, not gravel, but the stone would pulverize and stuff like that. Also, the elements, the water, the rain, etc., would cause it to, sort of deteriorate and sort of become like this eventually. So, I'm pretty happy how this turned out. Again, you have the parapet, so say if this wooden stockade, this wooden whatever is destroyed, they can just get back behind this thing and still fight. I've also worked on this a little bit. I'm a lot happier with it. It's a lot more compact. It was like really big before, but as you can see, you can now walk down and it's a lot tighter in here. I've lowered the ceiling and worked on that a little bit, and it still needs a lot of work down here, so we'll be working on that later on, hopefully. And then up here, there is, I've been working on this. Now, I've been trying to figure out what I want to do with this area, and I've kind of decided, since this is more or less a dancing hall in here, we'll go ahead and kind of do the same thing in here. So, or out there. So let's go ahead and get fire. I'm going to go ahead and actually light this up because it's kind of dark. But anyways, so let's go ahead and work on out here. What I want to do is I want to put two braziers right here and right there. Those are going to be kind of like fire. This is how they're going to see out here. And it's also going to add in a nice little thing. Like, you're going to be able to look at that and see the fire. It's going to look nice, I think. So we're going to go ahead and make this into burning coals. Technically, we don't even need to put fire here, but we're going to go ahead and do that right now just for aesthetic reasons, just to give you the idea. And I'm going to change these to stone to indicate that these are like built here. These are permanent fixtures on this balcony. So, excuse me. So we're going to go ahead and change those biomes over to that, and voila, very, very nice. Now out here, I've been trying to, like I've said before, I've been trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And so I've been thinking, what if we put a harp out here? I got this idea from Helicopter Helen. She has a very, very, very nice, I've never thought about it, like making a harp. Like, why can't we just use this little musical instrument we have? Where is it? It's in here. Why not just use that? Just put that on an item frame or whatever. But, let's just build a really nice little harp thing. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So maybe they dance out here as well. But yeah, full credit to this harp goes to Helicopter Helen. I'm not even sure if I'm copying the design exactly, but the idea and the design is coming from her. So, but yeah, thank you so much for this. It's just such a really neat idea to make a harp. So first you're gonna need a fence piece, then you're gonna go to that. You're gonna go ahead and change this over to a carved block. So say that block right there. Let's go ahead and put that on top, yeah. And we want a carved block, so we want it to look nice. That'll do. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. And we're gonna need a spruce wood plank, and we're gonna need some iron bars. The iron bars are the strings themselves, and so you go ahead and change those over to the what looks like strings, and then you do that, and there you go. You got yourself a harp. So thank you so much to Helicopter Helen. She is an incredible. She's incredible at coming up with designs and ideas and such, and I really thought that was a really cool thing to add into this this setting. But yeah, we can go ahead and maybe put a table next to this, a table next to it to indicate that it is maybe there's some song stuff on it. So let's go ahead and change this to a table, and then we're gonna go ahead and put a book on top of it, maybe music notes. Hopefully we can get the right one. There we go, perfect. So those are music notes, and whoever is playing the harp can just play, and then people can dance over here and do whatever they need to do. I would also like to put in maybe a table here where some people can play some chess or something. I think I did that in here, didn't I? No, I did not. Okay, so yeah, it makes sense, I guess, to have a little chess table out here. So we're gonna go ahead and grab the seat, And we don't want it too close to the brazier. We don't want to burn their hair off. So we're going to go ahead and put it right there. And then let's say we'll use just the red curtained, the red hemmed table right there. And on the backs of these seats, we'll go ahead and we'll make these into some legit seats versus just having them kind of whatever. So we'll go ahead and use signs for the armrests. So these are comfy chairs in the Minecraft era, the Minecraft civilization, because typically you just kind of put a chair down and yeah, that's that. So what do I need? I need this right here. So we're gonna go place that on top, and we want a chessboard. Perfect. So that's where they would place some chess. And so I'm not quite sure what other little details we could add around to sort of indicate that this is a place where some people could come out and for a little romantic dance or something. Oh, I know, flowers. Flowers are always a good thing. We could do a flower pot here and there using the end portal thingamajiggers. So we'll go ahead and do that. And again, we don't want it too close to the braziers because plants would not like that much heat nearby. So we're gonna go ahead and just go with this, put the pots around, and we're gonna use oak leaves, I think. Yeah, that looks nice. And we're gonna do this around the front. So very, very, very cool. I still think that there should be I would like there to be another flower over here, but those braziers are in the way, making it kind of a little hot for that. So we're gonna have to just skip out on putting another pot somewhere. You know what we could do, actually, which isn't too bad of an idea. Again, we're too close to the braziers though. Let's move these braziers. I'm gonna go ahead and move these over to this block right here so that it's not so imposing, like it doesn't get in the way of what we want to do, which it has been doing recently. So we're gonna go ahead and just move it over here, and we're gonna mess with the biomes again. It's one of our favorite things to do, and right? You know, biomes. Okay, so there we go. Go ahead and do that. And we're gonna go ahead and put another flower pot here in the corner. Now, what else I wanna do is maybe make a small little garden sort of thing going on. When I say that, I mean just like a little bit of dirt on the ground and then maybe put some flowers and such there. And I think that might look really nice. So there we go. We got some plants around. I think that's starting to look pretty good. And then I think we'll just make this area here into some dirt. So let's go ahead and grab that, and we'll make it into the equivalent of coarse dirt right there. The 1.9 version, whatever above of coarse dirt. There we go. I think there should be like a border around it, but whatever. We want some lilacs and some rose bushes, and let's do some peonies. I like the new peony texture. That looks really neat right there. And so there we go. And let's go ahead and grab some yellow flowers like so. Okay. And I think that actually looks pretty good like that. And then we'll do the same thing over here, kind of just whatever. There's really no method to it. Just kind of like that, and yellow flowers are fine. Okay, so very, very nice. I like how that's starting to look. This here needs something. I'm not quite sure. Maybe, oh, I know what we could do. We could just add in a nice little bit of stone just to make it a little bit more interesting. And we've got to make sure it's well supported. We don't want it to collapse on us or anything. So we're going to do that. And then for the stone bits, actually, this is kind of tricky. So we're going to do this instead. Because, yeah, we really want to be careful with this. And we're going to do that. And then we want some half slabs like so. That's looking pretty good. Just like a little... That doesn't look very good. We'll work on that later. I'll need to decide on what I want to do with that. Right now it's looking a little flat, so we'll figure that out later. But for right now, I think that will do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have been able to learn a little bit. I've really enjoyed this. I'm glad we were able to get back to krein. We got a good bit of progress done between the exterior, little bit of foliage and such. I think this is starting to really look good. So in next episode, I'll try to work on that portion there, and maybe over here somewhere. And also, for those of you that are wondering about the Raven server and the mod, Raven will not be using the mod. You'll notice that I had supported the mod by posting a video of how to install it on my channel. I am just looking at the mod as an option for Conquest. I'm not looking at that as like the next, this is where everyone should go kind of thing. I mean, I have my opinions on the subject. Everyone has their opinion on the subject, but stay strong, guys. And it's not about, I don't want to get into all this, but guys, just stay calm. Stay calm. It's okay. It's okay. Let's all be friends. That's all that matters. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, guys. You guys have a great day or night, wherever you're from, and I will see you on the next one. And hopefully we'll get some more krein out here eventually. So, yeah. See you around, guys. Till then, bye-bye.